بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So inshallah, now we're moving on to the next set of sama'i verbs, which are amil. So if you have a quick recap, we have al-maqsid al-awwal, we're discussing the amil, those words of the Arabic language which cause changes to the words that follow them. Then we said this fi'l al-amil, harf al-amil and ism al-amil, we do those in babu thani, third later on. We're now on al-babu al-awwal in the fi'l al-amil. And then we said this An-Nahw al-awwal is qiyasi, and then in there we had the fi'l lazim, fi'l muta'addi, and then we go on to sama'i. Okay, and in sama'i, so we should have here lazim, muta'addi, and then muta'addi ila one maf'ul, two maf'uls, and then three maf'uls, and then these two are fi'l qalb or fi'l tahweel. Yes. And then we did fi'l naqis, and in the fi'l naqis we finished kana wa akhawatuha. Now today's lesson is أفعال الرجاء, and then we move on to أفعال المقاربة and then أفعال الشروط. Then مدح and dam, and then the two sigas of ta'ajjuh. We already went through the summary in Sughra, so we finish this off inshallah. So الضرب الثاني is أفعال الرجاء, the second type of فعل ناقص. So we have فعل ناقص at the top here, أفعال ناقصة as قسم الأول, and there are four types of أفعال ناقصة. One is كان وأخواتها, and the second type is what? أفعال الرجاء. So now we're currently on the أفعال الرجاء. Following? Okay. Okay. So الضرب الثاني أفعال الرجاء. What's أفعال الرجاء? وهي, it is what? ما وضع. We done وضع before as well. We done وضع before. Is what is coined. وضع. You say coined, meaning it's been like people have decided, come together and place. Like for example, we have coined the word man for this. You get it? So the coin is when you fix a word for the meaning. That's what it means, coined. So af'alul raja has been coined, has been made, decided, has been fixed. The dalala, to show, denote. What does it denote? Ala, it denotes, ala is a maf'ul bihi of dalala, don't translate ala. It is that which has been coined to denote, show, to show or denote the raja, the hope. And we have raja is here, the hope or the expectation of the khabar occurring. Are you following? So what happens here is we have a fi'l raja, it will have an ism and a khabar. So the fi'l comes on the mubtada and the khabar, the ism and the khabar, and it shows that we hope the khabar, it shows that the mutakallim wants the khabar to occur. Are you following? So the second type is af'alul raja, verbs of hope. And it is that which is coined to show or to denote the meaning of, or to denote the hope of the, not mentioned here, but the hope of the speaker for the khabar to occur. Are you following? So, وَهِيَ أَفْعَالُ الرَّجَاء ma are those which have been coined to denote, to show the hope or the expectation of the occurrence of the khabar. So these verbs are there to show that the mutakallim and the speaker, he wants the verb, the khabar to occur. وَهِيَ ثَلَاثٌ, and there are three types. Okay. The first is asa, the particle asa. So asa, when you translate, you say hopefully. You can even add in, even though it doesn't have the meaning of you can add in I wish, I hope, hopefully, any of these things. So the first is asa. For example, asallahu an yaqbala salat al-musallin. You say here, hopefully, I wish, I hope, I wish, I expect. Expect is more of like a, you think you're worthy of it. So here it's better hope. I hope that Allah will accept the prayers of those musallin, those performing salah. So what's happening here? This verb asa is denoting the mutakallim and the speaker's hope that the khabar will occur. Allah's accepting the prayer of those performing salah. My hope is of this. That's what it shows here. The af'alul raja, it denotes the hope that the khabar will occur. Is that clear to everybody? Yes? Okay. The next one here is اخلولق. So basically, this you have to know this one. This comes in the Quran many times. Asallahu an many times it comes asallah, ya asa. The next two, اخلولق and hara, these are quite rare. qalilul isti'mal. It's rare in usage. You wouldn't really find it in literature, very rarely. Mostly we find it in the books of Nahw, just to show you the rule. But this one is common, you have to know asa. These two, there's no the rule of it, know they exist, but not very common. Okay, so اخلولق, again, hope study. So اخلولق المسلمون أن يحافظوا على الصلاة. So again, hopefully the Muslims will محافظة على, to remain punctual. So hopefully, I hope, I wish that the Muslims remain يحافظوا, you say here punctual, meaning protect it from loss. So meaning you don't lose it, meaning what? They carry out. So I hope that the Muslims are punctual in their salah. So I hope that the Muslims are punctual in their salah. You following? And thalith, hara. Again, hara al-mudhnibu an yatub. Hopefully, I expect, I wish that the sinful person repents. So all of these have the meaning of I hope, I wish. But this is the main one you have to remember, asa. And these are quite rare, very seldomly used. So asa, it shows that the mutakallim wants the khabar to happen. The mutakallim wants Allah wants this to happen. The mutakallim wants this to happen. The mutakallim wants this to happen. Okay? So the first mas'ala. Yakthuru, meaning common. Kathir, to be often, to be a lot. So commonly, go right here, commonly, often. Harfu an. So the harf an as a fa'il. And this is the maf'ulun fihi. This is the maf'ulun fihi of this yakthuru. This is the fa'il. So the particle an is very common in asa. Yes? وَيَجِبُ, what does yajibu mean? Necessary. That's not right. In اخلولق أن حرى. So what we're saying here, that when you have asa, you have the ism of asa, and then you have the khabar. What's the ruling regarding this an? Is it necessary or is it just very common? No, in asa, not common, not necessary. Yakthuru in asa. So so in here, this is, you will usually, asa will have, when you have the ism, followed by the khabar, you have an an in the khabar. You don't have to have it, some places you see it removed. But usually, you will have an an. And when it comes to ikhlawlaqa and hara, you must have and you must have it. You got no choice but to bring it. You have to have it. And here is very common. It can be removed. You will see asa without an, but it is not that common. Is that clear? So you have three verbs of raja, three verbs which show that it shows the meaning of hope and expectation. Okay? So let's do, for example, let's say, for example, we have here safara. Let's say, for example, usafiru ila makkata. That's what a normal jumla. If you want to say, well, I'm not sure, I hope to, I wish to, what would you say here? Or let's say for example, yusafiru Khalidun ila Makkah. If you add asa onto this, asa, what would you say here now? You would say asa Khalidun an yusafira ila Makkah. You would add the word an. You put asa and you would an. Hopefully, we wish that Zayd travels to Makkah. And if you have, and here you could also say asa Khalidun yusafir. You could say that, but it's not too common. You usually have to have an. Does it make sense? Are you following? Go ahead with your question. Whenever you have any of these verbs, the hope and the raja is from the mutakallim, the speaker. It's like the mutakallim is his wish, his desire, his want. Okay, good question. G. Anything else? Okay. The next masala. قد تكون أفعال الرجاء تامة. Sometimes the أفعال الرجاء are تامة. Have you already done tam before? Instead of having an ism and a khabar, it has what? A fa'il. Like كانت حرب, there was a war, there was something. So you have a fa'il. Okay? So in here, if you look at this one, asa an yarzuqani Allahu ilman. Hopefully, Allah will grant me knowledge. So if you look at this here, you have asa. After asa, can you see a fa'il? Is there a fa'il here? Is there a fa'il here? There's no fa'il. So then what happens now? So if you have another option, you can say, for example, you could have said it this way. Asallahu an yarzuqani ilman. Now in this example, in example number 1, example number 2. In example number 2, what do we have? After asa, we have lafzun jalala. What is that? No, that becomes what? The ism of asa. Okay, because it's fa'lu naqis, so it has an ism and a khabar, isn't it? Example number 2, is there fa'il here? Is there ism after asa? So here have ism asa and here khabar asa. In here there's no ism. So then what would this become? This becomes what now? Fa'il. So if after asa, if between asa and it's the an, there's a marfu', that becomes a ism asa and khabar asa. And if between asa and the khabar and the an, there's nothing, it becomes a fa'il. So in I'rab, it'll be slightly different. It gives the same meaning. Well, it'll have different meaning. It won't be exact same structure. It'll have a technical meaning doing balagha. What's the difference? But for now, you will know that they both are permissible, and one is fa'il and one is the ism of asa. However, the difference between kana tamma and asa tamma is that even kana tamma, the meaning changes. Like if I say kana zaydun qa'iman, this means this is auxiliary verb. So this is Zayd was standing. And if I say, for example, kana sawtun, this means a noise came into existence. Noise existed. A noise was heard. There was a noise. Or you say kana harbun, a war occurred. So the meaning changes in tamma and naqisa. In this one, this has the same meaning. The same meaning as naqisa. So in this, when you have asa an yarzuqani Allah ilman and asallah an yarzuqani ilman, there's technical differences like in terms of emphasis, etc. That's balagha aspect. However, both will have the meaning of hope. The raja meaning stays the same. Do you understand? So 2 key points is that the meaning stays the same in asa tamma, af'al raja tamma or naqisa. But the i'rab will change. So in asa, when it's tamma or naqisa, it gives the meaning of hope still. However, when you have no fa'il, no marfu after it, the an and what's after it becomes the fa'il. And when you have the marfu after it, becomes what? Ism of asa and khabar of asa. Have you understood this? Any questions regarding this? So let's go through the i'rab of a few of these sentences here. Okay. So asallahu an yaqbala salat al-musallin. How to do the i'rab of this? Let's start from the top today. So asa is fa'lun madin naqis. Ji. Yeah. Now what happens here is fa'lun madin naqis. Some people, again, is like, it's not like, okay, if you do this, it's wrong. But because when you say fa'lun naqis, people normally think of kana wa akhawatuha. So it's best to add in this little phrase, lirraja'i. So that it's not the kana and akhawatuha, because when you say fa'lun naqis, usually people think kana and akhawatuha. These don't come to mind. So it's best to put lirraja, so we know, okay, it's different. But you can put it is better, not necessary. Ji. And then it's asaya, it became asa, so the fatha is muqaddar. Ala fathin muqaddarin. Ji. Then we have lafz al-jalala, ismu asa, marfu'un bid-dhamma. Ji. Then yeah. So you say harfu masdar, you don't put nasb. Harfu masdar. Put harfu masdar and then what? Mabni al sukun. Good. Ji. Then يقبل is فعل مضارع منصوب بالفتحة. Good. Salata. Oh yeah, the zamir. Yeah. مرفوع محلا, you put the file ضمير مستتر. G. Then صلاة مفعول به منصوب بالفتحة. Good. Then المصلين مضاف إليه. Then مجرور بالياء. The ya here مصلون becomes مصلين. And then Yeah. أن وما بعدها اسم المؤول, and the اسم المؤول becomes what? خبر أسا. محلا, what's it going to be? Mansub, because it's the khabar of Asa. Understood? Yes. اخلولق المسلمون أن يحافظوا على الصلاة. G. Yes, so it's a فعل ماض ناقص للرجاء and then مبني على الفتح. Then we have here yeah, it's not فاعل, it says اسم because this is فعل ناقص. فعل ناقص is اسم, not فاعل. So المسلمون اسم اخلولق مرفوع بالضمة. Something went wrong here. Copy and paste went wrong. Yeah, it's مرفوع بالواو. Again, the hash, you have a lot of copy and pasting to save time. You get a few mistakes. So it's a mistake here. It's مرفوع بالواو. Good. Then أن is حرف مصدر منصوب على السكون. Then G. يحافظ فعل مضارع. It is منصوب بحذف النون. Because why? It's really يحافظ يحافظان يحافظون. So the علامة الرفع is a noon, ثبوت النون. When the noon is there, it becomes مرفوع. The noon is now dropped off, it now becomes what? منصوب. So it's منصوب بحذف النون. It is منصوب with the noon being محذوف. Understood? G, carry on. Yeah. So we missed out the waw in here. So it's really supposed to be what? Al-wawu. Al-wawu. Fa'ilun. مرفوع مرفوع محلا مبني على السكون. So you put the here فاعل مرفوع محلا مبني على السكون. Then okay. And then after that we have what? Ala becomes what? حرف jar and then مبني على السكون because ala. الصلاة becomes what? With a مجرور بالكسرة. Okay. And after that now we have to do the i'rab of the whole an. So what do you have here now? You say an. Oh, we forgot one thing. What about the ala? What's the mahal of ala al-salah? What does that become? So you say here وشبه الجملة is مفعول به غير صريح. What's مفعول به غير صريح? Correct? It's مفعول به غير صريح because it's مفعول منصوب محلا. Yes? That's the thing you have to be punctual in. So it's مفعول به غير صريح. And it's what? منصوب محلا. You got it? And then you say أن وما بعدها اسم المؤول. And then it becomes the khabar of اخلولق منصوب محلا. Following? Yes, understood? Any questions? فعل ماض ناقص للرجاء. Yes. Yes, it's مبني على فتح مقدر. G. Then اسم حرا مرفوع بضمة. G. And then حرف مصدر. G. مبني على السكون. Then يتوب فعل مضارع and because of the an منصوب بالفتحة. G. Then يتوب is هو is what? يتوب has a file inside ضمير مستتر. So you say here هو You have to say huwa dhamirun mustatirun. So mustatirun. Yeah, so dhamirun mustatirun, fa'ilun, marfu'un mahallan, and then marfu' mahallan. Yes, and then an ma ba'daha is ismu awwal and it becomes the khabar of that one. Okay. Now in here, in this one, what happens here now? Asallahu an yarzuqani ilman. Do that tomorrow, inshallah. There's two masla in here. We'll explain to you, inshallah. Apart from that, everybody follow the other ones? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. So inshallah, we're just going to finish off with the i'rab of the last part here. So, Bismillah, Brother Wali, want to go ahead with this one, the i'rab of this? Okay, so فعل ماض ناقص بالعدل الرجاء, and then it's مبني على no, remember مبني not فتحة, it's فتح not فتحة, because that's how the Arab they do it, the mu'aribin. Okay, then good. Good, correct. So when we don't have the fa'il ism, then that means the rest becomes the fa'il. So let's go ahead now. How we do an? We done an already. An harfu masdarin. We can forget nasab. An harfu masdarin mabniun ala sukun. Then yarzuqa. What's yarzuqa going to become? فعل مضارع منصوب بالفتحة. Good. Then يا متكلم الزمير مفعول به منصوب محلا. However, between that we have this ni. So in the Arabic book we simply we just said simply you can have e or ni. We just said it easy basically, but that's not really true. The zamir is actually the ya. The ya is the zamir in all cases. So the ni is not the zamir. The noon is actually called, the noon is mubtada. The noon is noonul wiqaya. Is the noon of wiqaya, means like a shield, protection. Meaning this noon saves the verb from appearing like a ism. So if you say yarzuqi, like kitabi, so that noon is added. When you have a maf'ulun bihi, the ni is not the zamir. The zamir is the ya, and the noon is noonul wiqaya. And it's always mabni al kasri. So that noon is called noon wiqaya, and the ya is the zamir. Are you following me? Yes. So you call it noonul wiqaya mabniyun al kasri. Then the ya is not what you said. Maf'ulun bihi mansubun mahallan mabniyun al sukun. Yes. So yes. So it's really an yarzuqani. But because when you have ni, you can say ni or niya. So then you give it a fatha, futihat liltiqa'i sakinain. It has been given a fatha because of e and Allah hamzul wasl. The ya and the wasl. So because of iltiqa' sakinain, the ya has been given a fatha. And then lafzul jalala becomes what? Fa'ilun marfu'un bil dhamma. And ilman maf'ulun bihi mansubun bil fatha. And then what happens here now? We say an wa ma ba'daha becomes what? An wa ma ba'daha ismun mu'awwal. Correct? What's ismun mu'awwal becoming here now? Yeah, marfu' mahal number. What is this? Marfu' mahal number. What is it? It's fa'il, not ism of asa. Because asa here is tamma. Because there's no marfu' after asa. That means that ism mu'awwal after is a fa'il. So you say here ismun mu'awwal, and then that becomes a fa'il marfu'un mahallan. Are you following? So asa an yarzuqani Allahu ilman. So hopefully Allah will grant me. So here it has the same meaning, well, similar meaning to asallahu an yarzuqani ilman. But because there's no marfu' after asa, we will make it the fa'il. Had it been asallah, then it will become mansubun mahallan, the khabar of asa. Are you following? Does it make sense? Does everyone understand the i'rab of this? Yeah? So we stop here, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.